All right. All right. I'm back. It's been a while. It's been like 5 weeks since I last uploaded, but I'm gonna blame that on me having finals and sort of putting all my free time into that. So, without further ado, I am back. I'm gonna start recording again. I am uploading as of today again. Great timing since we have the Warriors playing the Nets tonight and the Lakers versus the Clippers, where the Lakers will be receiving their championship rings. So that's going to be so much fun to watch. I cannot wait. Draymond Green's not playing, but James Wiseman is for the Warriors. Otherwise, I think all the other players are playing tonight, or major players. But yeah, so I can't wait to actually make content when there's the season going on. So we're going to be able to sort of talk about the things that are currently going on and all of that. Today, I kind of want to talk about my prediction for the season again, but I did the top 10 teams before the free agency period happened, and now I'm going to do it again. But after, obviously, so including all the injuries that might affect team seasons and people leaving, people joining. And finally, I will also add my predictions for the awards this year. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So if you don't know me, my name's Emil. I do this podcast here about basketball called The Fast Break. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and like the video. So I will be probably making around a few videos each week now. They'll be shorter than they used to be, around 10 to 15 minutes, so you can watch them whenever you have the time. Turn the notifications on, subscribe, and we're going to talk about it. So, at the number one spot, before the preseason, I had the Lakers. Once again, the Lakers, they literally got better, which I didn't think was possible. They added Montrezl Harrell. They did lose Serge Ibaka, but Bustin.
I can see the cable of the computer. There's the computer. This cable right here.
That's so completely fine. That is so completely fine. Are you kidding me? You stopped for that? I don't even know where I stopped. Okay, I know. I remember. They lost Serge Ibaka. No, I'm sorry. The Clippers got Serge Ibaka and lost Montrezl Harrell. And the Lakers got Montrezl Harrell but lost Dwight Ibaka. My goodness. Dwight Howard. So, and they obviously got rid of Danny Green, which, to be fair, I gotta give him credit for the defense he did play. He played amazing defense. He didn't shoot amazing, which is obviously why many people made jokes about him. But his defense was fantastic, and that's why they did keep playing him. Frank Vogel knew what he was doing. But, however, with that said, Dennis Schroeder is a very reliable player coming off the bench or not, however that plays out. But the Lakers definitely got better. They added pieces, they added depth, and as a championship team who just fairly easily won a championship, you can't let that happen, and so they are my favorites to win their series, their conference. Number 2, I have the Milwaukee Bucks, actually. I think I put the Bucks. Yeah, I did put the Bucks. You can argue that they got worse because they lost some depth. However, they did add Drew Holiday, who's one of the most underrated players in the league, in my opinion. And they also, they have Giannis. That should be enough. He should be still getting better. All right, sirens. I don't know if you can hear them, but all right. But yeah, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's 25, 26 years old, and so he's still getting better. So I don't know why the Bucks wouldn't be good again this year. However, he will have to show that he can perform in the playoffs, and not sort of the Bucks just have to be good. He did sign that 5-year extension, so we'll see if he ever requests a trade or something like that. But yeah, at third, I put the Clippers because even though they got worse, technically, I don't think it matters that they did lose Montrezl Harrell because Serge Ibaka is better. You can argue about that, but Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, however, they didn't perform well in the playoffs, I still think they're a top 3 team. Because if you look at Kawhi Leonard and what he has been able to do, one offseason shouldn't determine the entire thing. Because you had Paul George on the OKC Thunder. He had a top 3. He finished top 3 in MVP voting. Add that to Kawhi Leonard, who just came off a season winning the championship. Those two, maybe they just needed time to work together. However, you couldn't argue that for the Lakers since.
You're cutting this time.
I think so. Oh man, bless you. But yeah, so the Lakers didn't need that time, but the Clippers might have needed it. Who knows how that plays out? The Clippers are still a very, very, very solid team, one of the best, and that's why they're at 3 for me. Then at 4, I put the Heat because they did add. I don't remember who they added, but they got better. Just because they have Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. They're all young. They're all going up. Jimmy Butler, you could argue, oh, he's old. Well, he's Jimmy Butler. That's all the argument I need for that. So Heat are top 4. They are the 4th. They went to the finals. They beat the 1st and 5th seed in the East. So they're a powerhouse. Now the Rockets at 5th. I hate the Rockets. I absolutely do. But I got to give credit where it's due. Rockets. They added John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins, that might have been the steal of the free agency. He's been looking pretty good. Not 2018 DeMarcus Cousins, but he's been looking good. Which means if you are the Rockets, you now have DeMarcus Cousins and Christian Wood at the center position. Then you have James Harden at shooting guard, John Wall at point guard. You still have PJ Tucker and Eric Gordon, who are going to play your 3 and 4. And that is just a team that's going to go, should make a deep playoff run. However, we've seen them lose over and over to the Golden State Warriors. So if the Golden State Warriors do make the playoffs and play the Rockets, I'll give the Rockets about a 10% chance since they never seem to beat the Warriors. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's the Rockets for you. They did lose Russell Westbrook, but that just didn't work out. And obviously the question with the Rockets is, where does James Harden go? Does he stay? Does he get traded? Does he get traded halfway throughout the season? We don't know that. And that's the question that's going to answer how good they're going to be. Next, at 6, we're going to have the Celtics. And honestly, I kind of put the Celtics and Raptors at 6 and 7, kind of a mix, because they're just always there. I've heard many people refer to them as the Spurs of the East. They're just always good. They're always there. And this year's not an exception. The Celtics, they lost Enes Kanter, but they did add, who'd they add? They added the solid center. I keep forgetting these things, but even without that new solid center, they would still be very good. You have Jason Tatum, who's getting better. Jaylen Brown, who's getting better. Marcus Smart, who's always going to give you great defense. They did lose Gordon Hayward, but let's not pretend like it was any good for them. Then you have Kemba Walker, who has been injured the entire time. He's just always been injured here and there. He's played for like half the season. And if he can stay healthy, which I think he's already injured, but not then, he's like injured for a month or something like that. The Celtics are just good. They're always there. They have a great coaching staff and everything. So then you go to the Raptors, who Nick Nurse just won Coach of the Year. And they have Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, OG Anunoby, Chris Boucher. They just have Norman Powell. They just have a power lineup. And, well, Marc Gasol left. That's also who the Lakers got. So Marc Gasol did leave, but they still have Siakam. And, yeah. I think the Raptors are just a very solid team. And what they have, what other teams don't have, is chemistry beyond infinity, right? They've played together for multiple years, all of them. They know how to play together, and they know what they're doing. So that's why they're at 7 for me. Then you put the Nuggets behind them, and the Nuggets, right? Again, a duo that's very young, and Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. However, we don't know if that's too much recency bias with Jamal Murray, if he was only good for the bubble like TJ Warren was. But Nikola Jokic is the best center in the league, in my opinion, so they should make a fairly deep run in the playoffs. The West is just extremely stacked this year, so I don't know where they'll finish, but they should be they should be up there. Then at 9, I'm going to put the Mavericks. The only thing that's going to hurt them going into the beginning of the season is that Porzingis is out once again. If he can stay healthy, they would be a top 5 seed in the West. However, he never seems to stay healthy. Luka Doncic alone might not be enough in the West. If it was last year or 2 years ago, and it was just Luka Doncic, how he'll probably perform this year, believing that he will perform even better than last year, they could have probably been a top 5 team. But this year, the West is just way too stacked, way too many good teams, too many good players, too many good coaching staff, and I don't see the Mavericks finishing anywhere above the 6th or 5th seed. So that's their problem. And then at 10, I kind of have to do it. I have to. I got to go with my heart and say Golden State. I have to. I just have to have that hope. I have to be optimistic. I don't know. James Wiseman, who knows? He might be a Rookie of the Year. Probably not, but he might. If Draymond Green, we don't know. Maybe he plays like 2016 himself. If Curry and Draymond can play like they played in 2016, they are at 10. The Warriors are definitely a top 10 team, because that Stephen Curry was arguably the best player, definitely the second best player in the world at that time, and now he can make a case to be argued as his greatest point guard of all time. He already is the second greatest point guard of all time, only Magic in front of him, Magic Johnson. But it's just, for me, the Warriors, they just have so much potential with Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins. You don't know how they're going to play. Kent Bazemore, he's showed some amazing moves in the preseason, and it's just a lot. You do have the 2 best free throw shooters in the NBA right now on the same team, so technical free throws should be no problem. I'm not expecting to miss anything from that line. But yeah, that's my top 10. Otherwise, we're going to do a quick run through my award prediction for this season, with MVP being either Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Stephen Curry. Those are my top 3 in the finish. I'm not going to predict who will win. Well, actually, I'm going to say Steph, but realistically, I would probably say Luka, because he was in the discussion last year in the top 5, and now he's still getting better. And he's 22. He's going to get better, and that just means boom, MVP candidate. And Giannis is Giannis. I think that closes that. Steph is obviously, because I not only want him to, he has the opportunity, right? It's not that we know that he's going to be up there, but looking at the preseason, he's dropped 29 points in back-to-back games in 29 minutes, meaning now come regular season tonight, if Steve Curry plays him 35 minutes a game, he should get well above 30. And if your best player gets well above 30, that means you can also bring your team up, right? And obviously, the Warriors were the worst team in the NBA last year. And if you add one player to that, and Stephen Curry, and boom, you're a top 5 seed. I doubt that's happening, but if the Warriors are a top 5 seed, that should be the best argument possible for Stephen Curry, saying he is literally the most valuable player to any team. So that's why I think Steph could win it, but I think Luka's favorite in my eyes. Now for Rookie of the Year, I'm going to say Cole Anthony. I'm going to take a sleeper pick, but I think Cole Anthony can pull it off. He was pick 19, I think, or something like that, or a bit higher. But he was supposed to be picked a bit higher, but then, he didn't perform as well. But I think he could definitely shine on the Magic, just because who else is on the Magic except for Nikola Vucevic, Aaron Gordon? Technically, you have Markelle Fultz, but I doubt that do anything. Defensive Player of the Year, Anthony Davis. He was a close second last year, so I don't see him not winning this year. I think he's a high favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. Nothing to argue there. Sixth Man of the Year, I think it could be Dennis Schroeder. Just because he's always been in the discussion for like the past 5 years. He's finished top 3, so I think it's about time he wins again, or at all. Coach of the Year, Monty Williams for the Suns. This is because you have Chris Paul plus Devin Booker. Devin Booker hasn't ever had a good supporting guard in the front court. However, a good guard playing alongside him. So you have DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul all playing on the same team. So if Monty Williams can coach like he did in the bubble, boom. I think that makes a perfect argument for why he should be Coach of the Year. And then finally, I'm going to say Most Improved Player, Christian Wood, just because he has that opportunity as well with the Rockets, where he can score points off of James Harden, off of John Wall, who are throwing the quick lob. I think if you ask most people who you think is going to be most improved, most people will say Christian Wood. I am one of them. I think he's poised for that type of season. So with all that said, I still want the Warriors to win. I don't see it happening, to be honest, sadly. See the Lakers winning. I'll be happy though. I think it could be fun being the underdog again for me, for my team. But I am excited to start watching NBA basketball again. Warriors at 4 p.m. against the Nets tonight. Kevin Durant versus Warriors, first time since he left or since he got injured. Same difference. Then you got the Lakers Clippers at 7. Lakers receiving the rings, like I said. And yeah, we are ready for the NBA season. I am ready. So stay tuned. Turn your notifications on. Subscribe. Like this video. And I think I'll be excited to have you guys listen to more and more of these videos as I start uploading more. So thank you for watching, and like and subscribe. Peace out.